K-pop Demon Hunters proves an old Hollywood rule: nobody knows anything. We take readers' questions on the surprise summer hit, the future of Peacock and Netflix's toughest competition. Good afternoon from 35,000 feet. I am en route to New York, where I will be for a few days before heading to the Toronto International Film Festival on Friday. Please reach out if you are going to be there and want to meet up. You can reach me at lshaw31@bloomberg.net. We've added Mark Maron and Malika Andrews to the Screentime lineup. Ashley Carman will get Maron's thoughts on the state of podcasting, while one of ESPN's rising stars will offer her take on the state of sports media. 5 things you need to know. Donald Trump has threatened to take ABC and NBC off the air. Can he do that? A 30-year-old AI billionaire has started a new company that is one part OnlyFans and one part Patreon. The Metal Gear Solid video game franchise returns for the first time in years. ByteDance, the owner of TikTok, now generates more revenue than Meta, the owner of Facebook and Instagram. But its valuation is much lower. Gamblers on prediction sites like Polymarket and Kalsha are trying to cash in on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's engagement, betting on everything from their wedding timeline to her next single. The blockbuster nobody saw coming, again. K-pop Demon Hunters is now the most watched original movie in Netflix history, edging out Red Notice, a film that cost at least twice as much and featured 2 of the biggest movie stars in the world, The Rock and Ryan Reynolds. Bloomberg Screen Time. Netflix's most viewed movie of all time is a cartoon musical. Trump wishes Swift, Kelce, a lot of luck on engagement. Netflix's K-pop Demon Hunters tops box office in rare event. Gamescom show opens with new Call of Duty and Lego Batman announcements. The film's success is a reminder of an old Hollywood adage: nobody knows anything. Sony sold the film to Netflix rather than risk losing money on a theatrical release. Netflix put its marketing muscle behind Happy Gilmore 2. Toy companies didn't see it coming, which is why we aren't overwhelmed with consumer products. It wasn't even clear this would be a massive hit after it first came out. The movie was a slow burn. It debuted at No. 2 on Netflix's top 10 list and has been dethroned from first place by a couple of other movies since then. But audiences loved the movie, which has never dropped out of the top 2. This is not the first time this year that a massive blockbuster caught everyone by surprise. It happened with a Minecraft movie and to some extent with Sinners. The surprise hit is also something of a Netflix trademark. The company had higher hopes for The Get Down than Stranger Things and spent more on a Dave Chappelle comedy special than the first season of Squid Game. Media companies have more data about their audiences than ever before, and yet many executives feel more unsure than ever. They are overwhelmed given the volume of competition. We've been collecting questions from readers over the last few weeks, and a lot of them were about this movie, and Netflix more broadly. Let's answer a few of them. In the wake of K-pop Demon Hunters, will studio deals with Netflix change? Sony agreed to produce movies for Netflix as part of a larger deal licensing its theatrical releases. That agreement is going to expire soon, and Sony is about to bring its rights to market. The Netflix deal has worked out well for Sony. Its movies routinely rank among Netflix's top titles, even when they weren't big hits in theaters. Netflix would like to keep the Sony movies, and keep commissioning originals from the studio. But Netflix signed a deal for new movies from Universal and will feel less pressure to overpay for Sony. Amazon, which lost the Universal deal, is a contender for the Sony movies. HBO will bid as well, though it has had a hard time competing with the larger streaming services for these deals. It's hard to say if Sony will want to keep making original movies for others. Getting paid to make movies for Netflix is a pretty good deal for a studio that wants to sell more product than its theatrical division can handle. Perhaps Sony can bake in some protections in the case of the next K-pop Demon Hunters. Of course, if Sony had known the film would become a smash hit, management would have kept the movie for itself. Is YouTube the only service that might actually dent Netflix's dominance in the next decade? YouTube and Netflix are the 2 biggest streaming services. It's not even close. YouTube is much bigger in viewership and revenue if you include its subscription business. Disney accounts for a greater share of TV time than Netflix, thanks to TV networks like ABC and ESPN. But its share is going down. It's hard to see a traditional Hollywood player gaining much ground on Netflix, especially given its huge advantage overseas. But that doesn't mean Netflix lacks competition. The competition is broader than just Hollywood. It's a fight for attention. It has become trite to say this, but it's true. Netflix is competing with TikTok and podcasts and video games. That is why the company has explored all three categories. Netflix also lacks major sports rights, which limits its share of engagement and advertising for the time being. Is Comcast really going to just sit on its hands and let Peacock flounder while also losing internet subscribers? Comcast hasn't invested as aggressively in streaming as some of its peers because entertainment isn't its main business. Shares of Comcast rise and fall because of the performance of its cable and broadband businesses. Cable has been in decline for a long time. Broadband has been struggling for a couple of years. And the leadership at Comcast is intent on figuring out how to compete better in those arenas. While entertainment is a secondary concern, the company isn't neglecting Peacock. Comcast just spent a fortune on NBA rights and is making an aggressive bid for baseball. The company agreed to sell Peacock via Amazon channels, increasing its distribution footprint, and is raising prices. Management isn't going to spend $20 billion a year programming Peacock, but it's trying to make things work. The company needs to better define Peacock's place in the market. If you went up to the average person and asked them what they watch on Peacock, would they have an answer? The service has a lot of sports, but it also has sitcoms and some more female-skewing reality programming. Are you optimistic that the next media deal for Major League Baseball will satisfy owners, players, and fans? These next deals are a stopgap. Baseball didn't want ESPN to opt out of its current contract and is trying to make the best of a bad situation. The league is lining up of all its rights so it can strike a few massive deals in 2028, when all of the MLB rights expire. The biggest challenge for baseball is local rights. Baseball is a more local sport than football or basketball. The business of regional sports networks is in terminal decline, and no solution has emerged. MLB's streaming product lets you watch your favorite team if you aren't in that city. I can watch the Los Angeles Dodgers while in New York, for example. But most people want to watch the team in their own market. ESPN would like to consolidate all of the local rights on its streaming service. Amazon has dabbled in this area as well. They will be able to aggregate some of the rights, but teams like the Dodgers and New York